Hello, this is my occupational health and safety video pertaining to articles that cover various aspects of material covered over the past semester. The first article we look at was published on November 23rd, dealing with the death of a soldier at CFB Petawawa. 27-year-old Kyle Sinclair was killed while changing a vehicle's oil when a seat fell and caused severe head trauma that ultimately caused his death. Now, although looked upon as a freak accident, we can still look at the need to have more hazard identification programs in place to point out potential hazards that could occur in the environment in which you are working. In this case, they are looking for all recommendations to ensure that safety of personnel are now according to the law. However, if it was already in place, they may have recognized the need to have more than one person providing maintenance on armored vehicles whose parts are dangerously heavy and awkward for only one worker to handle alone. It would also apply to having more than one person on duty, as to provide support in cases of accidents to notify the right personnel, which was non-existent in this situation. The second article was published on September 5th and dealt with a fine for criminal negligence causing death. This brought up an incident that occurred in actually 2009, in which 4 workers died in a scaffold incident in Toronto. Evidence showed that the scaffold had defective design and that it would not withstand the weight of workers and their equipment, and there was not enough life harnesses to secure all workers. Here we have the issue of the employer not providing a safe work environment for its employees, and also the employee's ability to refuse unsafe work when safety conditions are not met by the employer. Now, according to the Health and Safety Act, it is the duty of the employer to ensure that the equipment that is provided is properly maintained. Here the employer failed to provide adequate lifelines for all employees, as well as continually check to see if equipment was up to standards. Now, looking at our third article that was published on November 24th, it deals with the Workplace Safety Board. Now, this article takes a different stand on workplace safety by identifying that, although in place to help establish safe workplace procedures, the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board pays out rebates to dangerous employers. Here it is clear that although there is legislation and boards in place to protect workers and encourage safety, there are still some flaws within the system, and we need to continue to adapt. Although incentives may provide encouragement for employees to establish better workplace standards, we need to continually raise the bar of what we consider acceptable and only reward companies that continually strive for excellent safety standards. Once again, looking at legislation, we have an article published on October 6th that deals with the death of a 17-year-old Adam Kunin while on a high school co-op placement. Now, this article pertains as to how the occupational health and safety fails to cover students engaged in unpaid work integrated learning programs. Once again, we look at legislation as protecting us, but we need to understand that lack of regulatory protection may have contributed to this death, and that we need to continue to fight to close those loopholes that could help similar accidents in the future be non-existent. Every worker has the right to know, the right to participate, and the right to refuse unsafe work. And going further, that worker that is involved in a workplace setting should be covered under all the Occupational Health and Safety Acts and the Employment Standards Act as well. The last article was published on October 9th and talks about an explosion that left 3 injured at Burns Lake Mill. The article focuses on the attention needed to improve safety in the industry. Once again, we look at hazard recognition, risk assessment, and control. Employers and employees need to be aware of any substance that could cause harm or loss when left unattended or handled improperly. In this situation, combustible dust is the material that caused the fire, and the employer had been written up on several occasions about unsafe accumulation within the work environment. The employer is responsible to ensure that the manner in which the work is performed is safe and that the environment is free from hazards and serious risks. The employer in this case needs to change its procedures to ensure that the workplace is safe for all of its employees. At the end of the day, we must continually be aware of our responsibilities as an employee or an employer, and we must continually try to raise the bar of safety within the workplace. Thank you.